Hi everybody and welcome to Tea Stains. Welcome to another Tea Stains update. So it's been a long time now since I've done an update. It's been a long time now since I've actually been in front of a camera and have been, doing anything like this. So I feel like I deserve, or you guys deserve, I don't deserve any of it. You guys deserve a reason why there hasn't been any content, why there's just been a live stream here and there kind of thing. And a little bit, I need to explain myself and, what's been happening. Um, so it's a bit of a hard one to explain. There's been a lot of things that have gone down. So I guess let's start from the beginning. All the way back in December of 2015, my dad was diagnosed with prostate cancer, which in and of itself was that was a big deal. Um, Ultimately, though, it affected me like a lot, obviously. Um, but not too long after that, he went in, had surgery, had his prostate removed, and didn't need radiation, didn't need chemo, didn't need anything like that. It was removed, and that was it. It was done. It was all gone, and now, almost a year later, he's in tip-top shape. So everything's fine there. But that was you know, that was it was an interesting experience because, like, I guess I've been fortunate. um, my family, luckily, like I said, been very fortunate. Um, we haven't had very many deaths in our family. Um, and so, like, I've personally only ever attended. I've been to two funerals in my life, so I haven't been around any of that kind of stuff. So when my dad was diagnosed with prostate cancer, it hit me and it hit me hard. I It just kind of opened my eyes, versus like that false sense in my head that was like, oh, everybody in my family is invincible, or something like that. Even though I know they're not. But always it's like, oh, that won't happen to me. That won't happen to me, kind of thing. But after that, it was like, man, it can happen. So it affected me really bad. But that was back in December, and you know, I I dealt with it. I dealt with it as well as I turn this up a little bit. Um, so yeah, so that happened. Dealt with it. Everything was okay. Tea Stains was still coming out. Still working on that, and doing my thing with my normal job and stuff like that. And then uh, I ended up going through some relationship issues with my girlfriend. I'm not going to get into it or anything like that. Um, Ultimately, now we're fine. Everything's cool. You know, everything's great. Um, but it was also another thing just to add on top of it that was like always looming over kind of thing. Um, but yeah, so that happened. Kind of dealt with that. That was around February, and then during February, my girlfriend Brandy, her grandmother passed away of cancer, and that was rough. That was very very rough. Her and her grandmother were very 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 close. Brandy lived with her for quite some time at one point during her childhood, when her parents couldn't afford to take care of her and stuff like that. So she lived with her grandma, and so just as a result, ever since then they've been just super super close. So it hit her hard. So a lot of um, the months around there was me not focusing on tea stains, not focusing on really anything other than just taking care of her, because it was rough. But that was in February, and then so we worked through that, and as well as with some other little things here and there. Nothing really too serious. Um, and then around the time that the video stopped coming out, which, oh man, how long ago was that? Like 5 months ago, like 6 months ago, something like that. So, something like that. Um, I ended up I was having some personal health personal mental health issues more so. Um, I'm the type of guy who like, I, I'm a lot like my father. My father's a madman. You know what I mean? If he has a cold, he ain't going to the doctor. He's a man. He brute forces it kind of thing. Um, and I get that from him. Obviously he's my dad. So a lot of times it's like I don't go to the doctors if something's wrong or if anything happens like that. And then when it comes to like mental health stuff, it's like, oh, whatever, just get the fuck over it. I've always been that kind of guy where it's like, oh, just whatever, get over it. You're fine. It's like, oh, experiencing some depression, get over it. Experiencing some anxiety, get over it. You know, just brute force it kind of thing. But it had gotten to a point where, it was getting to be too much. I was having severe anxiety at work. A little bit, it was kind of hit and miss because the type of work I do, I'm a assistant manager at a movie theater. Um, the type of work I'm in, it very much so is like, people get upset often because one, they're already pissed off that they got to pay so much money because let's be honest, movie theater. So as a result, everybody has problems, kind of thing. Um, so whenever there's problems, obviously I got to deal with them, being an assistant manager and all. So one night, um, we were closed. Everybody had left. It was just me, and obviously there were people in the theaters and stuff like that, just finishing up the movies. And I think it was around 11 o'clock. So the staff had been out for like a half hour, kind of thing. And a guy comes up. He's like, "Oh, can I get a drink?" I'm like, "No, sorry, all the tills are closed. There's nothing I can do. I can't sell you anything." And he didn't have cash, so I can't just like take the cash and ring it in tomorrow or anything weird like that. A little bit, it was, I couldn't do anything. And the man was very clearly intoxicated, and it escalated very quickly. And what ended up happening, I told him no, and then he came around the counter and he was in my face, like right up in my grill, and he was screaming at me, calling me a piece of shit, calling me a fat fuck. He told me to go die. Super cool. Um, and it was traumatic to say the least. And I didn't deal with it as well as I should have. That's for sure. Instead of doing the right thing, which probably would have been just phoning the RCMP, because let's be honest, the guy's in my fucking face and he seems about ready to fight and punch my lights out. You know, Instead, I just like, oh, okay, 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 and then when he walked away, I just snapped. I just broke down crying, you know, and which obviously wouldn't have been the right thing to do, and I ended up calling Brandy, who is the manager of the theater, and she came in and covered the rest of my shift, and she was just more so focused on helping me. After that, the guy's girlfriend was in the bathroom, and she came out and saw him screaming at me, so she just like grabbed him and then they left. Um, Obviously, like I said, the right thing would have been to phone the police, but I just that was the first time I've ever had anything like that, where like everybody pointed the blame at me. It wasn't like somebody tripped and like hurt themselves because they tripped. It was like, oh, it's all my fault, and because he was drunk, it was even worse. And ultimately, I didn't deal with it well. I went home. I was like, whatever, kind of just brush it off. I've had bad days at work before. Everybody has. You know, Anybody who's worked retail, yeah, you got shitty customers, and they suck. And you just brush it off and put that fake smile back on and get right back to work. Um, but I couldn't. That was the thing. I got back to work, a couple days later, and I was having panic attacks. I was freaking out because in my head, every customer that came up to me was going to do that. And so as a result, I ended up going to the doctor. Like I said, I'm not the guy who goes to the doctor. I don't go to doctors. I've been to like an actual appointment like 4 times in my life. I'm 21 years old. I just don't go to doctors. I don't like them. I don't like the whole experience. But it was too much. I had to go to the doctor. And ultimately he gave me the choice of, oh, you can do nothing, which he's like, clearly isn't working. He's like, you can seek therapy. Now, obviously, therapy comes with its own problems. You know, you got to get time for it. Obviously, work probably isn't going to cover that kind of stuff unless it was like, you know, our company. You know, they've said if like, you know, there was like an armed robbery, and like, you know, you couldn't go back to work or something like that because of issues like that, they would cover, um, you know, therapy and stuff like that. But this wasn't one of those cases. Um, and maybe they would have, but honestly, I didn't want to ask. I was already so ashamed that I had to go to the doctor. Um, but I ended up, like I said, going to the doctor. Oh yeah, and then choice three. Sorry, I'm all over the place. Choice three was medication. Ultimately, I chose the medication route. Um, Now, why am I telling you all this? Like I said, I feel like you guys deserve to know. Um, I don't like coming out and telling anybody about this. Nobody really knows that I'm on this stuff. But also, I feel like it, you know, there hasn't been any videos forever. And I can't just be like, oh, I got busy. You know, oh, this and that. No, fuck off. I need to come up and I need to say why and say that things are going to change. Um, you know, tea stains obviously was not my focus when I was going through all this, so that's why there was no videos. I have like 5 episodes of Twilight Princess recorded, and yeah, I'm gonna delete them. I don't like them. I didn't like what I did. I didn't. They weren't funny. You know, I wasn't, and I just looked like I was forced because I did this quite a while ago. Um, I you know, I was working through all that, and I was not focused on tea stains. You know, I still play video games, sure, but I wasn't recording them. I wasn't doing anything like that. I was just, you know, I was just dealing with my issues. Um, However, I'm through all that now. I've moved into this new place. Things are much better here than they were at the other place. The other place was very nice with like the way it was recently remodeled, um, and like you know, there's all new appliances and stuff like that. But it was a low income apartment, so we had to make under like X amount a year kind of thing to qualify living there. But they base it on like your income of the previous year. So for me, the income of my previous year was me only having a job for a couple months because it was right around my graduating year, and I had lost my job at that point because the store I was working at closed, and instead of getting a new job, I was like, oh, I'll just live off my savings and focus on studying, which I did. You know, I made rent and all that kind of stuff. And then, so yeah, the my income wasn't very high, as well as I think part of that year I worked at the theater, so I had a little bit of money, but also I was just a starting out employee, so I didn't have many hours and blah 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 blah. But ultimately, the next year, I'd worked at the theater the entire year, and I'd gone up through the ranks and gotten to the, you know, the place where I am now. So there was a lot of, you know, there was a much bigger increase in yearly income, and ultimately we got the boot. You know, we had tried reapplying, but they're like, "Nah, you gotta get." So uh, that was another addition to the whole stress thing because I hate moving. I've moved a few times now, and I frickin' hate it. Um, but it was really stressful just because of the town I live in isn't like strictly oil field driven. Um, and when we had moved into the low income place, rent at like all other places, like for this place, if I had to guess, would have been 1700 $1,700 a month. And it's a 2 bedroom, 1 bath, kind of basic apartment, nothing special about it. You know, which is like insanity, like just insanity. You know, for two people who work at a movie theater, you know, how the fuck are we gonna afford that? So when we got, you know, like, oh, you can live in the low income place, we freaking hopped all over that, and because the low income place was only 650 a month, and that was for 2 bedroom, 1 bath, quite a bit smaller than this place, but regardless. But since then, like not too long actually after we moved into the low income place, the oil field tanked, like tanked hard, and like half the population of this town lost their job. So as a result, rent just plummeted everywhere. So we ended up getting this place and we secured it, you know, on a nice long lease for dirt cheap. and super happy about it. It's a little bit more expensive than the other place, but totally worth it. That other place was like a prison. I swear to God, they didn't like they had rules where it was like no more than 2 tacks per wall because they would have to possibly repaint it. Like 2 tacks per wall. Like there's like 10 tacks right there just on those photos. Like what? No. So, you know, like, just stuff like that. And there was no pets or anything. And now I have my cat, which, hey, what are you doing? Yeah, man. But yeah, so that's been a big help too, having things like my cat back, which weirdly enough is very therapeutic. Something about cats. Okay, you can shut up now. You shush. Um, but yeah, so all the stuff that I've been going through and all the issues I've been dealing with are solved or are done with. You know, the medication I'm on now makes me feel so much better and has really helped me, figure out what was wrong in my life and what has been causing all these issues and getting to the root of it all. And a little bit, not so much seeking therapy, but like I guess watching videos and Googling and all that type of stuff to like try to help me figure out things to help myself, if you know what I mean. Things to help me calm down, things to help me think better, and find what is my problem and how to fix it and stuff like that. So a lot of just like self improvement, I guess you could say. Um, but like I said, it's I'm all good now. I'm happy. I'm the happiest I've probably ever been in my life. So as a result, I want to get back into tea stains. It's been too damn long. Like way, way too long. I can't believe how long I've let it go without any real videos. There's been a couple live streams here and there, but live streams don't take any work. That's why I do them. But now, I've calmed down. I've worked things out, and I'm ready to get back into it. So expect to see some more videos. I'm probably actually going to record some stuff, maybe now, depending on how long this takes to export. And so yeah, I might even do some stuff tonight. If not tonight, in the next couple days. But yeah, so that's the long and the short. Not even the short. That's the entirety of what's been happening in my life, and where I've been and where videos have been and stuff like that. But yeah, so I guess that's really it. Thank you guys for who've hung around and stayed loyal. I guess loyal isn't the right word. Stayed with us, I guess. Expect to see more videos, more live streams. I really love doing live streams. It's nice and easy and gives me a chance to sit down and relax and just play some video games and not work too hard at being funny and stuff like that. Versus a little bit, recording videos, got to put your game face on and got to go hard. So yeah, thank you guys. Thank you guys for watching. I'm sure I'll see you guys soon. Bye.